Okay, it's time for Lantern Rite Day 2, and I did not start this video off particularly well because I forgot to put on my headphones, and, not that that particularly matters, anyway, because I didn't put on the sound. I'm doing wonderful. Alright, let's fuck with the sound settings. Oh, it did have the sound on. What the hell is... Huh. I just didn't hear any sounds. Weird. Oh well, guess it doesn't matter. Alright, so, as I was saying, Lantern Rite Day 2. I haven't even done my freaking fortune. Anyway. Oh man, I'm behind. I am so behind. Okay. Let's do the quest first. This is what this is. We're gonna do the quest. Alright. Quest. Okay. Loading screen takes forever. Oh well. There's just so much to do. Lantern Rite quest, plus exploring the new region, plus just general responsibilities. Oh, brother. Alright. Who am I talking to? Oh, Gunyu. Nice. Oh, and she's falling asleep where she stands again. Oh, come on, Gunyu. Take a break.
Greetings, traveler in Paimon. What time is it?
Are you okay, Gunyu? You were nodding off there. Didn't you sleep well last night?
You assume she slept at all.
I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Let's discuss the matter at hand. Since last time, I've been thinking a lot about the story Paimon told me. In essence, someone rescued a drowning man and performed some music. If that were all there was to it, it could have been many people, human or Adeptus. But the tune was allegedly so wonderful that the drowning man forgot about everything else, even his own impending death, and only came to his senses after being brought to shore. Perhaps there was an adeptal power at work in that music that he, as a mortal, could not perceive. Or perhaps he sensed a power surrounding him but lacked the words to describe it, not knowing where it came from. Either way, if this part of the story is true, then the rescuer has to have been an Adeptus.
You really think so? But this story is all the way from Fontaine. Isn't this a bit of a long shot? Also, Paimon's really curious about how people from Fontaine think this fairy lady looked.
Seriously, are there no, Adepti type characters in Fontaine? So, in Mondstadt, you had, obviously, Venti was a wind spirit before he became a god, but you also had Andrus, and the wolf guy. He's kind of a wind spirit of sorts, or a spirit in general. And then you have Dvalin. And then here in, Leah, you have all the Adeptus. And then Inazuma, you've got all the yokai. And in Sumeru, you've got the Aranara. So what, does Fontaine have no spiritual beings of any kind? Is that just... What happened? Did they all get run out of Fontaine by the Hydro Archon? Was it... Did they go... Did they go off with the Lockfolk? Or are they just in hiding because of all the pollution that's apparently in the air and water in Fontaine, which is something we learned a while back, if memory serves. So, man, Fontaine's going to be interesting. Like, I want to see what the hell happened there.
then she'd look just like Ganyu. Guess that does technically make sense. Actually, Ganyu, if you had to save a drowning person, how would you go about it?
She'd jump in, pull them out, and jump back out again.
Huh? Me? Well, I'd get them to the shore, and then I'd probably hide behind a tree and watch them for a while. Once I was sure that they were going to be okay, I'd slip away without a sound.
Got it. So basically, Ganyu's the type of person who doesn't like taking credit for her good deeds.
No, it's not like that. I'm just not very good at explaining things. And I also find it really awkward accepting other people's gratitude.
Well, what if this Adeptus in the story had a similar attitude? That would explain why she just left without saying a word. She was probably thinking something like, one was merely passing by and saw fit to address this egregious disruption to one's graceful zithering at once. You may keep your thanks to yourself.
Oh man. I think we've spent way too much time around Cloud Retainer. Just that oh my goodness. That's hilarious.
That was actually a very good impression of Cloud Retainer, Paimon. As far as I'm aware, Cloud Retainer isn't the most musically gifted. Still, we can't completely rule her out just yet. If we set off now, we could head to Mount Outsung and ask her about it. You'll be able to confirm either way if it's her, and I can, I've been in Lea Harbor for so long now that I'm just not as familiar with the Adepti anymore. If there's anything we want to know about them, she's the best person to ask.
Sounds great! And we're pretty close with Cloud Retainer by now, so we probably don't even need to bring her food this time, right?
I've prepared a gift for her to mark the festival, just in case. However, Cloud Retainer spends most of her days studying mechanisms in her abode. She's on her own so much of the time that the moment she has someone to chat with, she just
keeps going on and on and on and on and on
and now that I've made the contract, I can't be having second thoughts. Traveler, Paimon, let's set off for Cloud Retainer's abode.
Cloud Retainer talks too much and then...
This is a tough decision for Ganyu, but she's made up her mind now.
Cloud Retainer talks too much and then reveals things of Ganyu's past which she's embarrassed about. So, you know, just like a parent and child in general. Shocker.
Paimon gets why she'd be so anxious. Okay, how about this? If Cloud Retainer tries to start telling stories about her again this year, we should pipe up and change the topic. Wait, did she leave already? Hey, Ganyu, wait up!
You're dealing with Ganyu. It's kind of like dealing with Kuching. Don't just stand there. Get a move on. If you're going to talk about something in secret, do it while you're do it while you're walking. Oh boy. Man, I wish I was still rocking the Wanderer. I keep going back and forth on what I call him. Oh well, it doesn't matter. It's not that much of a climb. And the dash did help. Seriously though, I understand that they're mostly kind of joking when they say that Alhaitham is just Sumeru's, is just Dendro Kuching, but he honestly kind of is. He's just a more technical version of her. It's kind of a little weird, honestly. But, whatever.
Paimon's so tired from trying to keep up. Don't either of you need to take any breaks?
You fly! How much energy does it bloody take?
I can't believe it. Cloud Retainer is not here.
Huh? Did we miss her?
She doesn't like to travel, So in the past, it's always been the other Adepti who come to visit her during the festivals. True. Now that I think about it, Cloud Retainer would be quite capable of taking care of anything on her own. There's no need to worry about her. Since she's not here, I guess the next step is to check all the other Adepti abodes, one by one.
Uh-oh. Will it involve a lot more traveling?
No, you're just gonna send carrier pigeons.
Got it! Paimon has a great idea!
Please go on, Paimon.
Are you gonna call Zhao just for this?
Our goal here is to find the Adeptus that helped Dvorak's ancestor, right? We can't hear any music right now, but if she's really as nice as the story suggests, she'd definitely come to help anyone who would.
Oh, this is even worse.
Yes, I think that's fair to say.
So, all we have to do is get the Traveler to pretend to fall into the water, and the Adeptus will come to the rescue!
Oh, this is so much worse. Oh God, just call Zhao. No, this is stupid.
You know perfectly well that Paimon can't swim. Paimon would sink like a rock.
You sink like a... You can fly! Oh my goodness.
Just trust Paimon! The water's pretty deep over there. Quick, swim to the very center.
Alright, I am now starting to agree with all of the conspiracy theorists for this game. Not in, like, real life, but just for this game. Who say that Paimon is working for, like, a god from Celestia and is trying to screw over the Traveler and get them killed. I am starting to agree with that sentiment because this is stupid.
Help! Help! Someone's drowning! If only there was a kind-hearted Adeptus here to save us! Oh no! Whatever will a Paimon do?
What's gonna happen? Shinha's gonna come walking out on the water?
What is going on?
Oh, it's Xiao. It's fucking Xiao! Of course it is. Oh, that's great. Oh, there's Shinha
How
too.
do you feel right now?
Oh my god, this is hilarious.
Shenhe, and the Conqueror of
Yes,
Demons.
you should feel embarrassed.
Why don't you say something? Please don't make
It
Paimon
was your
upset.
idea.
Okay, fine. Paimon will explain.
Oh,
We're
brother.
looking for an Adeptus who's good at being a lifeguard and playing music. But if the Adepti aren't gonna stay home, then how are we supposed to find them?
It wasn't me.
Yeah, so this Adeptus is most likely a woman.
And I am not an Adeptus, as you both already know, Traveler and Paimon.
Okay, so this is Paimon's fault.
You think?
No way Paimon would have suggested this idea if she'd known how awkward this was gonna be.
Glad you're okay. As far as I know, the one you seek is no Yaksha. And one last thing. Your actions here caused others a great deal of worry. Do not repeat them again in the future.
As ever, the Conqueror of Demons comes and goes, just like the wind.
Right. I didn't dare to say a word just now. How's your training going, Shenhe? Have you made any plans for Lantern Rite? We could spend it together in Liyue Harbor if you'd like.
Oh, I had planned to spend the festival with Master this year. However...
Oh, speaking of Cloud Retainer, when did you see her last?
Earlier this morning, she set off from Mount Hulao at dawn. I noticed she was using an Adeptus art of some kind to protect a mechanism that looked like a boiler. Maybe it was a gift from Mountain Shaper. I did not inquire.
So we just missed her. Please excuse me for a moment. I think I'll leave the gift in her abode.
Sure. Thank you.
It sounds like Ganyu and Shenhe have gotten a lot closer recently.
Yes. During the summer and winter, I continue to train with Master. In the other months of the year, I have been learning to adapt to human life in Liyue Harbor. Ganyu arranged accommodations for me in the city, and also recommended several work positions for me.
So, why split it up like that? Oh, there goes my phone. But why split it up like that? Why winter and summer in the mountains, but spring and fall in the city? Why not just like spring and summer in the city and winter and fall in the mountains or something like that? I don't think I'll ever understand these people.
But when I try to blend in by referring to her as Miss Ganyu or Lady Ganyu, like the others, she says I mustn't address her like that. Sometimes I'm supposed to copy other people. Sometimes I'm not. It's a little difficult to keep track of everything. Oh, is that what it is? Noted. So, you came looking for Master today because you wanted to ask her about the Mystery Adeptus. Is that right?
Yep. Oh, speaking of that, have you ever heard any music while out training in the mountains?
Music? What is that?
Oh God.
It's, a kind of a happy or relaxing sound. Or, a nerve-wracking sound. Or even a terrifying one.
Wonderful. Good job, Paimon.
Okay, I'm done. I also left her a note so that she knows where to find us. We won't miss her again.
Yay! That's really helpful. Thanks!
We were just talking about this thing called music, and based on Paimon's description, I do believe I hear it every day. Please follow me.
Oh, really? Great, let's go!
It's gonna be like the wind blowing through the reeds or through a mountaintop or something. How far is this? I'll just teleport. You know, Lantern Rite is really fun. I do enjoy it. Getting to see all these characters that you don't necessarily always get to interact with is really fun. Just, I wish that we could interact with more characters, like, on big things. I hope that we start getting, like, Lantern Rite type events in the other nations. Like, we've had Wind Bloom and in Mondstadt, and I'm hoping that we have it again so that we can have, you know, another big Mondstadt holiday, and I want it to be, you know, annually, just like Lantern Rite, and hopefully, you know, the Sub-Zerus festival will be annually, and maybe the Iridori festival in Inazuma.
I enjoy training here to the sound of music.
Let's see. What is the music? Sound of the wind blowing the grass?
Oh no! Paimon's got death! Paimon can't hear anything! Oh, whew! Paimon hasn't got death after all! Paimon heard you when you just spoke. Anyway, where is this music?
The faint sound of birdsong, the quiet murmur of the streams. These are relaxing sounds. Are they not the music of which you speak?
They are, they just isn't exactly what they meant. That is music in its own way. What they are talking about is man-made music with an instrument.
Oh, Paimon wasn't quite done with the description. Okay, fine, it's all Paimon's fault. What we're looking for are not the sounds of nature,
a melody is?
Hey! Don't you patronize Paimon! Let's get one thing straight. Paimon knows plenty of nursery rhymes, but Paimon does not sing on demand. Without payment.
How often do I pay for your meal? That is exactly what I would say to Paimon. Just saying.
Hey! Why don't you just sing that one melody Shen has heard before? It'll probably help her to understand what we're talking about.
Oh, was that from the opera that Yunjin sang?
Mm-hmm. That was a melody, and melodies can be called music.
Why didn't you just say the opera which she
It felt
saw?
like I was transported back to the past. In my mind's eye, I could see the Zhao lanterns lighting up the night sky again.
It's like they forget the old quests.
We're all there, raising our glasses and drinking to our heart's content on the Jade Chamber. As I watched Yunjin's performance, I felt a warm sensation in my heart. And as the drink reached my stomach, it went from warm to hot. When you hummed that melody just now, feelings from a whole year ago came right back to me, as strong as they were on that day. So that's the power of music.
Wow, Shenhe. That was so deep! Music definitely has the power to bring up memories. It's like a time capsule with all the special moments from our life squished inside. What about you, Ganyu? Are there any melodies that have left a deep impression on you?
I don't remember if my parents ever sang any lullabies to me. I know some local folk songs, and a few other things come to mind too. The songs of the sailors down at the docks. The little ditties that the vendors call out in front of their beloved shops. The tunes of folk artists performing on the streets.
Random curiosity. How does she keep her sleeves up? Like, how do they stay in place? Is there like a pull band or something? Yeah, anyway, it's just me taking a look at her design and being curious.
Yes, that's right. In the past, whenever I heard the sound of those tunes, I always felt that they were worlds apart from me. Nenny and Liyue probably view me as a non-human. And they are right, in the sense that I never could connect with humans' artistic expression and their sentiments. So I haven't been able to integrate into their community and be a part of their lives. At least, that's the view I held in the past. Only more recently did I start to realize that the only barriers are ones that I have erected with my imagination. The way those melodies make me feel isn't all that different from other people after all. They're about mundane details of everyday existence. Life's ups and downs, joys and sorrows. Even though we come from different backgrounds and have different stories to tell, when it comes down to the most common things that we see and experience around us each day in the city, in that sense, we're all the same.
You go, Ganyu! You're really making progress. You have loads of friends in Liyue Harbor when you think about it. Like, okay, maybe some are more like coworkers and bosses. But, at the very least, Keqing and Shenhe are your friends now, right?
Yes, I am. Technically speaking, we should refer to each other by the conventional forms of address used among fellow disciples. But now that I know what constitutes a friendship, I do believe we are more friends than co-disciples.
Honestly, you're probably closer to sisters, but we're not going to go down that. Maybe they're just not ready for that level of closeness.
Thank you, everyone.
Once the days are warmer, I would like to host you at my home in the city. Please invite Keqing as well. I've planted many types of flowers. I'm sure some of them will be to your taste.
You are too kind. I couldn't possibly.
Nonsense. You are my friend. I have cultivated and cared for the flowers just as you taught me. Once you've seen them for yourself, I am sure you can advise me how to do an even better job next time.
Does she have someone take care of them when she's not in the city? Because I would think that she would, if you're going to take the time to cultivate them while you're there, you would also need to cultivate them while you're not there. But maybe. I don't really know that much about the care of flowers.
I will save some for decoration. We can feast on the rest.
Then, thank you in advance. Wait, what is that saying again? If you insist?
Do people say that? I'm not completely sure either.
It doesn't matter, okay? You got the point across. No need to split hairs. Paimon's more concerned about your idea of a girls' night out. Eating flowers? Really? Does this have anything to do with you both being the disciples of that illuminated bird?
Oh man, wouldn't it just be wonderful if Cloud Retainer flew up to them just as Paimon said that? Oh god, I was right!
Nearly as that illuminated bird.
Oh, I was fucking right! Oh, that's great!
Master,
Oh god.
Greetings, Cloud Retainer.
Ah! There it is! The illuminated bird is landed!
Do you want to piss her off some more?
Humph. Now she has the gall to use it rather than she. Even after being chastised once already? Barely a moment has passed since we last met, and yet your impertinence has reached new heights. Very well. If you refuse to learn your lesson, one shall scold you no further. One has received your message from Ganyu. On the matter of the Adeptus you seek, one suspects to know their identity. Well, shall one lead the way?
I still have to complete my training for today, so I will bid farewell to everyone here.
Very well. Await my arrival at one's abode later this night. On this special occasion, you should indulge yourself with some savory dishes.
If you want to release a Shao Lantern, come and find us anytime.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Lantern Rite to you too.
Oh man. God, Paimon, you idiot. That is a very nice melody. Man, I kind of wish Cloud Retainer would just peck Paimon. She's been getting away with a lot recently. Like pissing off all these gods and goddesses and adepti and everything. I'm impressed that nobody has just flat out like smacked her yet. Going. Oh, wow. Oh, definitely not walking there. Oh boy.
Is this Quaily Plains? Cloud Retainer, why did you bring us here?
Ganyu is of course familiar with the name Guizhong, but have you ever heard of her? Guizhong is another name of Agentis, the god of dust. She was extroverted in nature, and adored social gatherings and inventions alike. Long ago, this region was yet a prosperous assembly. Guizhong often invited her friends to visit her home, reserving for us seats around the largest stone table. Sea Gazer would always bring out his latest treasure and place it upon the table. He could be quite the braggart.
Though usually a mild-mannered fellow, when it came to those collectibles he was so fond of, he always loved to show them off.
Paimon remembers that name. So that's what Sea Gazer was like.
He was an old friend and a former rival. One has many memories of him. Once he had brought out the treasure, it would predictably become the center of attention. Neither Guizhong nor One was content to let him just steal the spotlight. So we would then also present our proudest mechanical creations. As Adepti, we were each gifted in our own ways, and naturally proud of our accomplishments in our respective fields of expertise. As a result, One often quarreled with Sea Gazer. His treasures were not even of his own making. He just used his exploration skills to dig them out of the ground. How, pray tell, could he compare to me, when every single one of One's accomplishments were crafted by one's own hand?
Okay, calm down, now. There's no reason to get all huffy.
Cloud Retainer, you are getting competitive again.
One digresses. Regardless, every time an argument occurred, Guizhong would come over to watch us during our mutual lambastics. On some occasions, she would join in, and on others, she'd take one of us by the limb and start uttering the most ridiculous nonsense.
I think I like her.
What kind of nonsense?
No kind of nonsense were we spared. Sometimes she would brazenly opine, why argue between yourselves when neither of you could ever hope to beat me? Other times, she would make unsolicited suggestions, such as, once you two are done arguing, let's go to the foot of the mountain and grill some meat.
Oh my goodness, no wonder. No, Guizhong is just like Hu Tao. No wonder Zhongli likes her so much. That's so awesome.
She always sought to make everyone happy, and one must say, she had quite the gift for it. No matter what nonsense she said, one never felt bothered or offended. It also helped that she never referred to one as that illuminated bird or ladybird.
Come on, get over yourself.
Okay, fine. We're just gonna start referring to you as emergency food all the time. How do you think you'd feel about that, Paimon?
Anyway, just as our impassioned arguments would reach the apex of acrimony, Marchosius would bring his delectable dishes to the table. Who would dare snub the stove god and his wondrous creations? At the sight of him, we would all immediately drop the argument and prepare the table for a night of feasting and drinking. Back then, one was always bothered by how the cups Rex Lapis brought were always too square for one's taste. Can you see yourselves ever enjoying a drink from a square cup?
No, actually, I agree with Cloud Retainer on this one.
Precisely. So, as you can see, even one as great as Rex Lapis was not immune to making the occasional blunder. Even one could never find fault with Marchosius's cooking. As we ate, Guizhong would continue to find topics for conversation, filling the table with humor and laughter. Each of those old fossils had their character flaws and points of obstinacy. So why was it that whenever we dined together, we always had a marvelous time? We would drink together from a spot high in the mountains, until the moon set and the sun rose, and only then would the banquet finally come to an end. Streetwood Rambler would often remain to admire the flowers with Guizhong before returning to her own abode. The glazed lilies were far more abundant back then, Entire fields of them would appear to the eye as a veritable sea of flowers.
Streetward Rambler?
That would be Ping. You probably know her as Madam Ping.
Oh, okay. Wait, this is a lovely story and everything, but didn't we come here to find that Adeptus from Mr. Dvorak's story?
She just got to it.
Or are you saying that it was Guizhong? Didn't she, already,
Alas, long has one avoided this place for precisely that reason. The sights here are a reminder of a time long gone, and evoke much sorrow. One should have guessed that you would disrupt one's poignant moment of mourning with your incessant questioning. No matter, one will share the whole story with you now.
Random hilly churl in the background.
In times gone by, one quarreled oft with Guizhong concerning mechanical principles. We each had our ideals, and neither would yield. Under the pretext of a social gathering, one invited the impartial Rex Lapis to judge the quality of our creations. But Rex Lapis declared that Guizhong's Obscuro Vulpus mechanism was superior. Though one was too proud to acknowledge it, in one's heart, one knew that Guizhong was indeed the superior talent in the mechanical arts. As for the story between Guizhong and Streetward Rambler, that begins with a certain bell. In Guizhong's opinion, while mechanisms were no substitute for human composers, they were yet capable of producing simple but fine melodies. But Streetward Rambler believed music to be an expression of the soul. An emotional enterprise that could never hope to be replicated by machinery. They argued endlessly, until one asked Rex Lapis to intercede. He confiscated the bell and designated it for ceremonial use. Thereafter, one would often find them convening in the mountains, discussing music, mechanics, and all the affairs of the mortal world. But these good times were not to last. War broke out between the gods, and soon engulfed the Guili plains. Guizhong was overpowered by the enemy, and fell in battle. When Streetward Rambler and I arrived at the scene at long last, all that remained among the ruins was her lifeless body. After this, at Streetward Rambler's request, Rex Lapis granted her the cleansing bell for safekeeping. To honor our friend's memory, one made a few finishing touches to her ballistic device. Many Lantern Rites have passed since then. Many greetings and goodbyes. Upon what do you gaze? The Guili Plains?
No. It's everything. We think of human life as like a lantern that's lit one minute and extinguished the next. But are we Adepti so different? Perhaps as dust settles after a storm, we too must one day return to the world below.
I wonder if Cloud Retainer can go back to the human form, and why she's a bird. Like, is it a choice, or hey, there's no sound. Why is there no sound? Fuck up with the frickin' audio from MiHoYo. No dialogue. Silly. But that was sad. That was kind of sad. But yeah, I wonder if Cloud Retainer can switch between bird form and human form, and if Madam Ping can go between young and old.
What? You have loads of friends, and you seem pretty chatty.
Just because one is not ignorant of social graces does not mean one is fond of them. One is perfectly capable of partaking in conversation despite being introverted. But in the end, one is nothing like Streetward Rambler. She is dauntless but thoughtful, not to mention eloquent and wise. Moreover, her friendship with Guizhong was far greater than one's own. Back when they were rivals, they would often compete against one another in the realm of musical composition. That cleansing bell was one of Guizhong's proudest works, having the ability to both compose and perform.
Wait, that's weird. Didn't Madame Ping say she pestered an old friend for that bell? And she also said something about being a vain beauty when she was young or something.
Okay. Did you not listen to the story? She pestered Zhongli to give her the bell after Guizhong died. That's kind of just what happened in the story. And she was a vain beauty when she was young. Paimon, do you listen?
Streetward Rambler, a vain beauty. My foot. That bell has a sad history. Clearly, she refrained from sharing with you the truth of its origins, since the right time had not yet come.
While she glossed over the origin, she didn't exactly say what she said to the traveler in Paimon wasn't exactly a lie. It was just a trimmed down version. She did ask Zhongli for the bell. One could say that she pestered him, depending on how you look at it. Maybe he didn't want to give it to her because, he wanted a keepsake of Guizhong. And the fact that she fought with Guizhong, she might consider herself to be a little vain in that regard. Just a matter of perspective.
As for her old friend, who else could it be? As soon as Streetward Rambler heard that a certain Zhongli wished to borrow the bell, she realized that the man was none other than Rex Lapis, and that he had made an enormous decision. After all, we all have known each other for several millennia. Some things between us are implicitly understood.
Whoa! So they were talking in secret code? Oh, Paimon did not see that one coming.
Yeah.
Enough of your intrusions. Where was one up to? Ah, yes. One remembers now. The cleansing bell is powered by a mechanical art, and can be used to great effect as an accompanying instrument. After the passing of its creator, it was used on numerous occasions during rites of parting. But Streetward Rambler did not acquire it from Rex Lapis for the purpose of producing further funerary tunes. No. Each time she rang it, it was to play the tune that Guizhong composed on it. The two once clashed over their beliefs about the meaning of music. Who would have thought that with Guizhong's passing and Streetward Rambler's mourning, two tunes composed in discord would eventually become one harmonious composition? Once upon a time, Streetward Rambler also loved gatherings, liquor, and music. But after Guizhong passed, she preferred her own company. She could often be found sitting alone at a mountain summit, contemplating and reminiscing with her zither. The music would go from mournful to soothing to impassioned. Many years passed before she finally composed a melody to her satisfaction. In celebration, she played the tune to the clouds. Regrettably, one has only ever heard her play that tune once. Which brings one back to the matter you've been investigating. Perhaps it was during that performance that the ancestor of your Fontaine friend fell into the water and was saved by Streetward Rambler.
But if she was so happy with the melody, why would she only play it once?
One was also greatly perplexed by this. After suppressing one's curiosity for a long while, one finally approached her and asked why she would retire the tune after having spent so long on it. In response, she said, "Though the strings that played that melody survive, the one who inspired it is gone. Tell me, Cloud Retainer, when the one attuned to my soul is no longer here, who else could hope to understand this tune?"
Aw, poor Madam Ping.
In other words, her soulmate is gone and she just doesn't have the heart to do it anymore. My god, this is depressing.
I just remember being taken care of by you when I was young. Once the Archon War came to an end, I stayed behind in Liyue Harbor to honor my contract. Although I met Guizhong a few times, I never knew anything of this particular story.
Guizhong was quite the visionary, but tragically passed before her time. Her manuscripts still lie unfinished in the realm of clouds. Blank pages give one cause for contemplation on what might have been. Had you not decided to search for that mystery Adeptus, perhaps these stories, too, would have been lost to the sands of time. As of now, you know the truth. That the Adeptus who rescued the drowning man was none other than Streetwood Rambler. Do you intend to discuss this with her?
Do you mean Ping might find the topic too distressing?
Precisely. The passing of our old friend is a heavy topic that both of us are usually careful to avoid.
If I may be so bold, Cloud Retainer, could it be that this is just your own personal opinion?
Oh? How so?
I've been in Liyue Harbor for quite a long time now, and I've witnessed many farewells along the way, so I too am well acquainted with the pain of the passing of a loved one. But this doesn't bring the city or its people to a standstill. They have to keep moving forward. Someone as perceptive and wise as Ping will surely have come to understand and embrace this. Though these immortal mountains have lost an Adeptus, the harbor of mortals has gained a wise elder. No loss can ever be undone, but there is always much that can still be gained. Ping has helped countless people, and will guide many others in the years to come. And all to whom she extends a helping hand become her friends. People she can admire flowers and discuss music with. Though it is heartbreaking to lose a kindred spirit, life goes on, because there are new friends waiting for you further down the road.
We even asked Madam Ping what she thought about adding a music festival to this year's Lantern Rite. When we get back, why don't we just ask her if she'd like to perform? Maybe we can even get her up on stage.
That's going a bit far.
You youngsters and your imaginations.
Why don't you come with us? It's been a long time since you last spoke with Ping, and Liyue Harbor is always decorated so beautifully during the festival period.
Is not every Lantern Rite the same in this regard? Were there ever anything new to discuss? One in Ping could meet any day of the year.
I disagree. Each new day and each new year is different from those that have come before. How long will you simply let them pass you by?
The edibles she brought this time were indeed quite delectable. Very well. Then one will be off. If the other old fossils have sneaked away into the city to amuse themselves, one shall soon find out.
All right. We should be getting back to the harbor as well. We don't want to keep her waiting. Once the Guili Assembly, now the Guili Plains. Say, if we planted flowers there, and cared for them carefully enough, Do you think that one day we'd be able to recreate the sea of glaze lilies?
Allow one to take back one's praise from a moment prior. You are still far too given to flights of fancy, child.
What? Cloud Retainer? You were still listening?
One observed that you were making no effort to leave, and returned to chasten and hasten you. This time, one is departing in earnest.
Okay, that's funny. Yeah, let's go with the high ground.
Here you are.
Oh, I guess I should have aimed. Well. That's right, you can't just jump off the edge of mountains and whatnot.
Yeah.
That was
Whoa.
weird.
Madam Ping? And Cloud Retainer?
It appears you made haste after all. One arrived but moments before you.
Oh, bless my soul. To what do I owe the honor? How nice of you all to come and visit me.
Miss Illuminated Bird, haven't you said anything yet?
Said what, precisely? And why should one be tasked with saying it?
'Cause you're the one who's known Madam Ping the longest.
Street word. Or rather, presumably, you would prefer to be addressed as Ping?
Oh, Cloud Retainer, you are uncommonly polite today.
One, Given that Lantern Rite is almost upon us, the weather in the city is most pleasant, and a sweet flow.
Oh, for the love of God, she's talking about the weather.
Ganyu, please continue from here.
Oh my God.
Alright. So, this all started because we were trying to help Mr. Dvorak find the Adeptus who saved his ancestor's life. Cloud Retainer informed us that the one who played that melody and rescued the drowning man was none other than yourself.
Ah, let me think. Yes, I do believe I recall that encounter. What a long time ago that was. I'm surprised that you still remember it. Even more astonishing, perhaps, is the fact that this story has survived this long at all, when mortal lives are so very brief. It appears that she has proven herself right once again.
Who's she?
Wow,
Like
you
to
really
call
are
her
slow on the
Paimon.
uptake.
From the look in Cloud Retainer's eyes, I sense that she has already told you all about her.
Albeit reluctantly, one might add.
There is no harm done. After all, Lantern Rite's very purpose is to commemorate the heroes who gave their lives for Liyue. Although Guizhong did not live to see the splendid sights of today, she was as much a hero as any other.
So, how has she proven herself right again exactly?
Once upon a time, she said to me that humans were a weak form of life that she wished to protect with her wisdom. But as she interacted more and more with them, her opinions on them began to change. She marveled at the beautiful complexity of their spirits, the sheer splendor of all they could accomplish through their hard work and intelligence. She told us that to underestimate human potential would be to make a grave mistake. With the smallest amount of guidance, enormous power can be unleashed in them, and a human who has reached their full potential may well be her equal. Someone who could have as much to teach an adeptus as to learn from them.
She always had a way with words. That her mechanical accomplishments were judged superior to one's own was, one suspects, in large part due to her sheer eloquence.
Speaking of mechanics, Cloud Retainer, do you still remember that potted plant mechanism? The one that the two of you gave me as a gift?
Of course. Guizhong and one both put an immense amount of effort into that gift. It would be no overstatement to call it a testament to each of our individual technical genius.
As Guizhong once said, it takes every blade of grass and every flower to make a homeland. When I see the sight of Liyue Harbor before us today, I am reminded of this.
Madame Ping looks very emotional right now.
Of all of us, it was Guizhong who was the fondest of these grand and exciting occasions. If she were still with us, I'm quite sure she would still be trying to best Cloud Retainer's finest works at every opportunity.
Liyue Harbor is always filled with the sound of music at this time of the year. If she were here, one is certain that she would seek you out to discuss and debate the virtues of various melodies.
Oh yeah, music! We've been dying to ask. What was the melody that you played back then? Oh, also, with you being such a music expert and all, why don't you join the concert as a performer?
I can make arrangements right away.
Oh, as much as I don't wish to dampen your enthusiasm, it's been a long time since I played this zither. My fingers don't have the dexterity they once did, and whenever I play that tune, it always reminds me of her. I start wondering what she would think of the changes I have made to her melody. There was a period of time whenever I started strumming, it almost felt like she was back again. Sitting right there on the stone stool next to me, chatting away. Skybracer and Seagazer too, looking just like they did in the old days. No matter how much time goes by, the moment that melody starts playing, it transports me right back to that time in my memory.
So the past still weighs heavily on your heart?
Well, I would be lying to myself if I claimed to have completely moved on. But that is not to say that grief doesn't get easier with time. Despite the sadness, I have found many things that bring me joy in life. It is simply the nature of the world in which we live that even if one wished to mourn for an eternity, it would be a nigh impossible feat. Just look at this potted plant. Isn't it stunning?
It takes an honest and open mind to confront and conquer grief. You have indeed made progress.
Be that as it may, I shall leave the Lantern Rite stage to the youth of today.
Well, if you're sure.
Granny!
Hey, Yanfei! I was wondering when we were going to meet her.
What's everyone doing here? Did something bad happen?
Ah, and now we've spooked Yanfei. No. Everyone's just here to give me their regards for the holiday.
Oh, that's wonderful, I'm glad! Well, in that case, happy Lantern Rite, everyone!
Happy Lantern Rite. Oh, I just remembered that I have some, work to do at Yuehai Pavilion that I need to discuss with Yanfei. I haven't been able to find a chance until now. I will leave Mr. Dvorak in your capable hands. Cloud Retainer, Ping, we will be off for now.
Huh? Does it have to be right now? Which case is this again? Hey, Ganyu!
It seems Ganyu still has much to learn when it comes to the art of deception.
What a pity. She has learned nothing of one's ability to carry a conversation.
Don't give her that look. She's better at it than you,
Since it's been
Paimon.
so long, Cloud Retainer, why don't you stay? I'll make a cup of tea and we can chat a while.
Gladly. This was one's intention as well.
When you next see the Fontaine musician, please give him my regards. I'd like to wish him the very best with the concert.
You got it, Madam Ping.
Thank you all. I think you've listened to enough of my nattering for one day. As for that melody, I will play it for you all another time. Goodness knows I need to practice it first.
Wow, that'd be great. We'll look forward to it.
When that time comes, wherever her spirit may be among the countless grains of sand and specks of dust between the harbor and the mountains, perhaps she will look at the Liyue of today and steal a smile when she sees the prosperous land that it has become.
Okay, so just a quick interruption before we go into all of this, or finish this up. I will say that I'm not 100% sure, but if there is a connection, but Gui Zhang does look a lot like Sandrone, the Fatui, the Harbinger, the one who rides around on the Rune Guard Golem thingy-mabopical. So I might do a video where I discuss that, but they're very, very similar looking, even down to like the hair, like the bangs or sideburns or whatever the hell they are that kind of flow down her side and are kind of long. They look very similar. So there's something weird about that. And this comment right here, wherever her spirit may be among the countless grains of sand and specks of dust bit, makes me wonder, like, did somebody harness her residual essence, for lack of a better term, and make Sandrone? I don't know. Like I said, there's not a lot of evidence, but they do look really similar.
Alright, let's go tell Mr. Dvorak the news. Everyone hold hands.
I don't need any more seeds from them. Good to know. Is he, like, touching his temples to think when he does that ability, or is he focusing his like headphones? Huh. Let me check. Interesting. Oh well.
Mr. Dvorak! Ah, and Kuching's here too! Thanks for helping set all of this up.
Welcome back. Did everything go well?
Really, really well. We found the person Mr. Dvorak was looking for.
Are you serious? I see. So the melody my ancestor heard was an adeptus remembering her late friend? That certainly explains why it was such a powerful and poignant tune.
Huh. That's a really interesting first reaction. Guess that comes with having a musical mind.
I have to say, though, it's hard to believe that the fairy from the tale is now an elderly granny.
Oh, Paimon knows exactly what you mean. Normally, Adepti don't age at all. But Streetward Rambler, or Madam Ping as we know her, probably only became old because it's what she wanted for herself.
Madam Ping possesses vast knowledge and great wisdom. Whatever physical form she may decide to take, her mind and wits are as sharp as they come.
Yep, Kuching summed it up perfectly. That's exactly what Paimon was trying to say.
I think... yes. I must thank her in person. That can wait until after the concert, though. For now, I need to devote all my emotional energy to the performance.
Ah, speaking of, Madam Ping wishes you all the best with the music festival. Paimon has a sneaking suspicion that she'll stay in her usual spot, but listen to the performances from afar.
Wait, are you serious? Oh no, now I'm starting to get nervous. Okay, alright. Nope, another rehearsal is in order. Please excuse me, everyone.
Mr. Dvorak? He's already gone. Paimon wasn't even finished telling him everything. Before we set off on our search with Ganyu, he asked us about what music means to people. After our recent adventure, Paimon thinks we have a lot more to say about that now.
So, Dvorak is from Fontaine and he's a musician. And from the way he talks, I'm guessing the music is important in Fontaine. To an extent, it's important in all the other countries, except for Sumeru. But that's changing. So, I'm wondering how musicians... So we know how researchers are treated in Fontaine. And we have an idea of how journalists are treated in Fontaine. So I'm wondering if how musicians are treated in Fontaine. It's very interesting. Fontaine's got a lot of weird, unanswered questions about it, and it is entirely because of Focalors and her, like, weird is the wrong word and I'm using it too often, her draconian personality, I think is the best way to describe it. So we'll just have to see, but every time we meet someone from Fontaine, it just piques my curiosity even more about this place. And not just because, it's based on France, and it's the nation I've most wanted to see, because I like French things.
Please, share your insights with me.
Well, we found out that music can be used for good, but also for bad. It can make people happy and move, but it can also be sad and bittersweet. And music is like a kind of memory written in people's hearts. It can put you in touch with feelings from a totally different time and place.
It sounds like you had an eventful trip. Don't worry, I'm sure Ganyu will fill me in on all the details shortly.
Wait, does that mean you're gonna carry on working?
Mm-hmm. Just a few things to wrap up. All the groundwork is done. As long as everyone enjoys the festival activities, all our efforts are worthwhile. Happy Lantern Rite to you as well.
That should be everything taken care of, right? Oh, no, wait. Paimon feels like she's forgetting something. What was it? Oh, it feels like it was a while ago.
The bamboo shoots.
Shoot! Latent...
Nascent.
Wait, no. Anyway, fancy bamboo shoots! Zhang-Li said he wasn't in a hurry, so if we went now, there's probably still time, right?
latent bamboo shoots. That's well, that'd be interesting.
Anyway, let's go check with him at Wangsheng Funeral Parlor.
By the way, these shoes about Hatham's, the pointy shoes, they're just so much. Ooh, this is interesting.
Oh,
It's like she's beatboxing.
all right. Let's take a break here. Oh wow, look who it is! Are you here to hang out with everyone's favorite funeral director?
So you're just casually practicing your rapping skills at the entrance to your funeral parlor? In broad daylight? Okay.
And what's wrong with that? Nothing, that's what.
After everything we've been through, you don't see me for a hot minute, and you're back to being scared of your own shadow. We have all this open space, a clear view of the mountains behind and the sea in front. Not to mention we have several invisible audience members enthusiastically cheering us on. It's the perfect spot to rehearse.
Invisible audience members?
Gotta say, it took me a few days to get used to Director Who's way of talking.
Xinyan was pretty spooked too when she first got here. Just like when she sees a frog, but a giant frog with sharp teeth.
Come on, knock it off.
What's wrong? I've never seen someone look so confused before. Well, don't worry, because Director Who's here to explain it all. There once was a Fontaine musician who went around town on a mission. He came door to door for his iridescence tour, looking for acts to audition.
She did a limerick. Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool.
With my words, Xinyan's chords, and Yunjin as our mentor, we'll take the stage by storm with flames roaring and the whole audience calling for more.
For sure! The whole dance floor will be yelling encore! Encore! Oh, now Paimon's rhyming along. But when you say flames roaring, are you sure this will be safe?
Oh, don't you worry about that. I'm pretty experienced on the stage, and I've already informed the Yuhong of all the pyrotechnics we're planning on using.
Huh. Guess we'll just have to trust Xinyan on this one.
Oh, Zhongli. He took one of those fancy meal boxes and set off for the mountains. Said he wanted to pay a visit to some old friends. It's a real pity that he couldn't be around for this. As well as being a true connoisseur of traditional art forms, he's able to appreciate Xinyan's performances too.
Yeah, that's right. Matter of fact, he was the one who first invited me to perform here. To tell the truth, though, I never thought I'd really find myself rehearsing here one day.
Well, now you know. The Wangsheng Funeral Parlor is a great location. All of you are always welcome to come and hang out here, especially if you're in the mood to try something new.
Like a new coffin? Just a nice, snugly warm coffin. Satin lining.
I can speak to that. Hu Tao is always full of fun surprises.
And jump scares.
Actually, Xinyan, I have some lyric ideas for your part. Do you want to go through them together?
Sure thing. I'm all ears.
Oh, Traveler and Paimon, I believe Zhongli was heading to Mount Hulao, so make sure you're hiking up the right hill. When you see Zhongli, please pass on this message to him. It's up to him whether he wants to support us at the performance tonight, but I expect him to make time for the upcoming banquet we're planning. No excuses.
You should join us too. It'll be a riot. If there's one thing I've learned from being a funeral director, it's how to throw a party.
And we go back up the mountain. The one problem I have with all these quests is that you just back and forth, walk around. I mean, I know we have waypoints and all that, so we don't actually have to walk around, but come on. Admittedly, this isn't the same mountain. I'll grant you that. It's this is, I think it's Mountain Shaper's Mountain, or is it Moon Carver? Maybe this will tell me. Okay, so Mountain Shaper, so that's the other bird, if memory serves.
Paimon sees them! It's illuminated deer! And illuminated bird number 2!
Seriously! How is she getting away with this?
A familiar face. Have you come from Liyue Harbor? How is the city nowadays?
Everything's great! But you know, if you're so curious, you can always go and check it out for yourself.
In fact, Mooncarver has been taking many walks on Mount Tianheng in recent times. I believe the sights of the city are quite familiar to him.
Zhongli! Here you are! We've brought the bamboo shoots you wanted.
Impeccable timing.
Like you didn't have that time down to the flipping
Traditionally,
letter.
bamboo shoot soup ought to be slow cooked for many hours on low heat. Using Adeptus arts to hasten the process is something of a shortcut.
Wait, that mechanism, is that?
Indeed. Cloud Retainer kindly lent me her supreme cuisine machine.
Can we not just call it a cooking machine?
No,
actually, never
Supreme
mind.
Cuisine Machine is
She
so
takes a lot
much
of
cooler.
pride in her mechanical gizmos, so it's probably best if Paimon doesn't go changing the name willy-nilly.
And yet, you're willing to call her Illuminated Bird. That makes no sense.
I trust that you found the answers you were seeking during your recent journey. Excellent. The past should be remembered, but not overly dwelt upon. Our journey should be seen as a means to take on more from the world around us. When the bamboo shoot soup is ready, I must insist that you try some for yourself.
Oh, Zhongli! Huta told us to tell you something. She said, it's up to him whether he wants to support us at the performance tonight, but I expect him to make time for the upcoming banquet we're planning. No excuses! When she says performance, she must mean the Lantern Rite Music Festival. As for the banquet, she didn't tell us anything more about that, but she invited us to come as well.
And I'm just guessing that this is when Venti's gonna show up. And oh god, I can't wait. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun to see Zhongli and Venti interact.
As you can see, I have a prior engagement with 2 Adepti friends of mine tonight. Please, give Director Hu my best wishes for the performance. As for the banquet, since the Director insists, far be it from a mere consultant like myself to refuse.
Mere consultant, my ass.
Absolutely.
Rex Lapis, the bamboo shoot soup is ready.
Thank you. I will examine it right away. The appearance is exquisite, and the aroma rich and intense. The craftsmanship of this machine is commendable indeed. Since you came all this way, you should not leave empty-handed. Please, take some soup. It tastes most exquisite while still warm.
You can't even use it. So, what, does it stay piping hot forevermore? guess it does. Holy shit. That's hilarious. Oh, man. Let's see if they have anything else to say.
I intend to reminisce with my old friends for a while longer. You ought to get back to Liyue Harbor. There is a performance you do not want to miss.
I apologize if you can hear that sound. It appears that someone in my neighborhood has decided that playing their music very loudly in their car is,
Had one known that Cloud Retainer was in possession of such eminently useful devices, one would have sought to borrow one from her long ago.
And yet, since you share my lack of enthusiasm for mechanisms and fine dining, it would have become a mere decorative ornament in your abode.
Not so. Had one had such a device to make up for one's lack of culinary prowess, Shenhe would not have had to rely on flowers and herbs alone for sustenance, while under one's care.
Oh, well.
In that case, shall we rendezvous with Cloud Retainer one day soon, and request to borrow one more Supreme Cuisine machine?
A fine idea. A fine idea indeed.
That's kind of cool. Oh, and the car music stopped. Good. I don't get why people have to like blare their music so loud that that everyone can hear them. I understand you like listening to your music, but that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone does. And you know, you're disturbing other people. Like, imagine if somebody had been trying to get their child to go down to sleep or something. You can hear the music quite fine without having to blare it so that I can hear it from the street. Anyway, I'm just bitching.
I'm honored to be here on the Iridescence Tour stage. All right, without further ado, I'm Xinyan, this is Hu-Tao, and this is a little something called...
The Blaze Lilies!
I'm up here blazing trails through the midnight sky, lighting up the world below. And when the crowds all hear my voice, they'll meet the spirit of rock and roll.
Let's go! Hey, you butterfly, you two buzzing by, guiding your way to the afterlife, opening the path without a fright. Oh, I'll light the fire, watch it blaze across the universe. I'll spit my rhymes, watch your step, or you'll get burned. Hey, woo!
Does anyone have any plans tomorrow? With another year behind us, I think we deserve a celebration of our own. My treat. Interested?
The Tianquan footing the bill? I can't miss out on that.
Nice song, too short.
Master, listen!
May the year ahead be a blessed one.
I believe it shall be.
Master, the Xiao Lanterns,
Ha! Elementary. One shall fashion for you a Xiao Lantern the likes of which the world has never seen. And you must take it to Liyue Harbor to display its magnificence for all.
always enjoy the music for Lantern Rite. It's so pretty. I still remember the first one with the galloping Sky Bracer. And it's a little sad that we don't get that big a spectacle again, but that music is still so wonderful. I do wish that we had been given a few more choruses. I don't think that's the right word. Bars, I think. Yeah, that's more appropriate, of Jin Yen and Hu Tao's song. That it was far too short, but you know, whatever. So, that's the end of this video. If you found this video at all helpful, or if you liked my commentary, please like and subscribe. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.